Listen, some people are going to join AEW and flourish and do big things. Some people are going to come into the company, and the reality is it may not actually be that way. And for this one individual, they were a very big name at one point in their career. And when they came to AEW, there was this big belief that things would be massively changed in the division. However, that didn't actually happen. And as I've been speculating for a while, it turns out this individual is gone from the company. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Coming up, we're also going to talk about Warner Bros. Discovery's reaction to the low ratings, and we are going to talk about a WrestleMania surprise. Okay, kicking things off in this video, we're going to talk about Warner Bros. Discovery and their reaction to the low AEW ratings because, of course, the IWC loves to throw ratings in other fans' face. They love to do this because they love saying, my team won, my team is better. I don't think that's a great way to look at ratings. I think looking at ratings, it's important. If they go up, if they go down, you kind of follow the trend, right? However, Warner Bros. Discovery's stance on the online chatter is actually very interesting. Now, while speaking on Beyond the Bell, Andrew Zarian dropped some very interesting stuff. He says that he's been hearing very positive stuff from Warner Bros. Discovery. He says, I brought up the ratings and the internet chatter to them and they don't care. It doesn't even resonate. The messaging on the internet is not even resonating with these people, and they're the ones in the key positions here. Now, the reason why this is actually worth talking about is because wrestling fans love talking about ratings all the time. And listen, I have talked about ratings, but you guys will never ever hear me talk about the number actually being accurate. This is something I've maintained for my entire life, really. It's so easy to say 500,000 people watched Collision, but I never believe that number is accurate. And the reality is a lot of people who actually work in TV understand this. However, what I do say, and this is the important part that I know people want to overlook, but what I do say is if Collision is constantly at 500,000 and then 10 weeks from that, they drop to 100,000, clearly there is showing some sort of decline. And that's what you need to pay attention to. That's what I feel like the only good things from ratings that you can actually make of it is whether or not they are up or down. I don't look at them for accuracy, and I don't like to use them as a point of, well, AEW had better ratings than WWE, and then WWE had better ratings than AEW. I think they determine what's popular to a certain extent. I think it determines what has momentum, but I don't look at them as accurate figures, and for that reason, it's important to bring that up, because Warner Bros. Discovery, if it doesn't resonate with them, then they're basically just happy. Which at the end of the day, and I've said this so many times on my channel, even long before AEW ever existed, when it comes to the TV partners, as long as they're happy, that's all that matters. I think there is no real competitive, aside from looking at profit, I don't think there's a certain metric that wrestling fans can actually look at that helps them with their arguments. So therefore, they just immediately go to the ratings, and that's obviously not really beneficial at all. That brings us to our next topic, ladies and gentlemen. We got to talk about it. Sexy Red, Cardi B, what is the surprise? What is in the works? Jey Uso recently said in an interview that he wants Cardi B or Sexy Red at WrestleMania. Now Sexy Red, who has appeared multiple times on WWE programming already, has come out and responded to that on Twitter and says, tell Jey Uso I am there. Now, obviously, Jey Uso has made it part of his shtick. When he comes out with his entrance, he is yeeting in the crowd with some sort of celebrity. We've seen Travis Scott. We've seen Quavo. Obviously, we know this is a thing. Jey Uso having that celebrity with him, it's pretty obvious he's going to have a major and massive entrance for WrestleMania 41. And listen, Sexy Red is somebody who actually likes wrestling. Sexy Red is somebody who has actually been in WWE. It makes a lot of sense for Sexy Red or Cardi B to be involved. Both of them have been involved with the WWE in some sort of fashion. So obviously for the WWE, it does make a lot of sense if you want to do something with them moving forward. And listen, I've read the comments on my videos before, and I understand that wrestling fans don't really like when celebrities get involved. But if you look at the WWE, that is not going to stop. I can assure you, WWE will not stop with the celebrity involvement. TKO is truly building a brand that is desired by many, and part of building that brand includes having those cosigns from celebrity involvement. And obviously, if Sexy Red were to come to WWE, while I'm not a fan of Sexy Red, I understand that Sexy Red targets an audience that may not be watching WWE, and therefore that's an opportunity to bring new eyes to your product. And I know this might shock some people, but it's the same reason why I've supported AEW and WWE having celebrities anytime they do, regardless of who the celebrity is, right? AEW brought Shaquille O'Neal in, and I thought that was a great thing. And he even had a match in the company. And then, the thing is, like, you got to look at it from a perspective of not only growth, but also if these celebrities enjoy your product and they are involved in your product in some capacity, it's not just a one and done type of deal. They're going to post the footage online. So if they have a major social media following, that is also another added benefit. And I think that's one thing that just simply can't be ignored. I think a lot of wrestling fans want to ignore that, but the truth is, you shouldn't. And I understand why fans don't like celebrities in wrestling. But if it's a celebrity like Cardi B or Sexy Red or anybody who really likes wrestling, why not do it? Jelly Roll was a WWE fan. He got involved. He had a moment. It went viral. People were talking about it. At the end of the day, wrestling companies should desire those moments. And if this is just simply an entrance, how can you really be mad at that? Jey Uso clearly going to have 50,000 people yeeting in the crowd. You bring out a celebrity, people are going to talk about it. I'm not advocating for Sexy Red to have a match, but to come out for an entrance, I think it's a good surprise. And if it's Cardi B, even better, right? Because she's obviously a little bit more famous. So we'll obviously see what happens there. And that brings us to our next topic and our final topic, ladies and gentlemen. Another major name leaving AEW. My speculation was correct. Saraya, aka Paige, is leaving AEW. She just revealed this on her new podcast. Doesn't actually say anything bad about AEW. She's been relatively positive about her experience in AEW. But she talked about this on Rule Breakers. It's her new podcast. And basically she says that, her decision was driven by a desire to take time off around into the holidays, and a feeling basically came to her that she doesn't really fit in AEW. She has no animosity with AEW. She doesn't have any issues with Tony Khan. There's not a situation where she is being rebellious or, acting in a negative way or a negative light towards AEW. She honestly just feels like she doesn't fit in there. Obviously, AEW probably has to agree with that, right? Because of the fact that they don't really utilize her. And look, that's going to happen, right? Obviously, Saraya's situation is interesting. When she came into AEW, WWE Medical would not clear her. That return was not going to happen. So she went to AEW, she got cleared. She had a massive debut, nothing wrong with that. But I don't feel like they did much with her. I don't think you can ignore that. I don't think you can ignore that because I think that is factually true. They didn't do much with her. And for whatever reason they chose not to do much with her, that's up to them. I'm not going to sit here and say AEW fumbled Saraya, but what I will say is it would have been nice to see her in a couple more major programs. Obviously, that didn't happen. Now, will she return to WWE? We'll have to wait and see. But my speculation this entire time was that she was probably going to be gone from the company. And as you guys can imagine, I think this is that confirmation that we've all been looking for. Now, with that being said, yes, there was a couple feuds I would have loved to see. We didn't get them. It is what it is. But we're not going to sit here and act like AEW's women's division has not improved immensely. It has. Megan Bayne and Toni Storm is shaping up to be a great feud. So if that makes me an AEW grifter, lover, I don't know what you guys want to call it. I don't know. Certain areas of the program have improved. This was one of them. It would have been nice to see Saraya being part of that. She's no longer a part of that. But it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, now would be the best time to remind you that we have a major goal to hit 100,000 subscribers. Over 40% of the viewers who watch this channel are not subscribed. Please click subscribe if you enjoy staying educated on everything with wrestling news.